Hey there, welcome back to another mini rant. This time it is a triple threat tirade where I will be ranting on three topics. Three topics, all in one video, as quickly as I possibly can, just to get them off my chest and get them out of my basement. The first one is one that is very current, one that pretty much every YouTuber is dealing with right now and has definitely at least thought about, and that is the new algorithm from YouTube, which is effectively censoring content for advertisers. Now there's also new policies that have been put in place to make it even harder to have content that is, quote, advertiser friendly. In my opinion, YouTube has effectively shot its own foot off and is one bullet in the chamber away from blowing its head clean off its shoulders with this new development and their approach to combat the adpocalypse, or the Wall Street Journal article that came out a few months ago, or I think it might have been a year, but I don't think it was a year. It feels rather current, to be honest. Everything's happened so fast. The fallout of the adpocalypse has been sudden, swift, and intense. And this is something that is being felt by every YouTuber, big and small. People like myself, people who have smaller channels, people who have bigger channels. Everyone is being affected the same way by this algorithm. So, and by these new policies, where YouTube is saying that there is now content that is not eligible for advertising. Videos that might be about controversial issues and sensitive events, drugs and dangerous products or substances, harmful or dangerous acts, hateful content, inappropriate language, inappropriate use of family entertainment characters, incendiary and demeaning, sexually suggestive content, and violence. And that you might be just talking about violence. For example, a lot of people have noticed that their reviews of films like Friday the 13th, I know a friend of mine, Pizzowell, he ended up dealing with the same thing. He did a great video about this topic. If you just talk about horror films, if you have Friday the 13th in your title, or if you dare to talk about the kills in the film, well, apparently that's not advertiser-friendly content. YouTube has effectively kicked out the U in YouTube, and it's just the tube now. It's just an extension of television. It abides by the same rules that television does. Television and their studios, they kowtow to the advertisers. They have to do that in order to make their profit. It is so ironic to me that YouTube spent millions of dollars trying to compete with television, and now after the Wall Street Journal article, which accused YouTube of running ads on racist videos, now YouTube is effectively just an extension of television. It's just the tube. There is no U in YouTube anymore because everyone now has to follow the same rules and guidelines that public television and cable television, not necessarily cable television, but the big premier cable TV networks have to follow. It is absolutely sickening to see this. This is YouTube erasing years of goodwill, years of being the best site possible for people to share their content, regardless of what people's political views or what their feelings might be, or whether or not they get their points across with swearing or whatever and all this other stuff. YouTube was never meant just for kids and for all ages and all audiences. There were certain parts of it that were geared towards people who had more adult mindsets, who were able to handle controversial subjects and discussions on controversial material. I really feel bad for YouTubers who rely on YouTube for their income, to pay their bills, because there are a lot of very talented YouTubers who are really getting fucked in the ass by this algorithm and by this new ad policy, which there's been stuff like this before, but not to the extent as it is right now. The algorithm is completely Orwellian in nature, in my opinion. It's a complete and utter pile of fucking garbage because it's not consistent, and there's no possible way that this computer program can accurately determine what videos are not advertiser friendly and what videos aren't. Because this is YouTube we're talking about, the same site that had a hard time with its content ID system and its copyright system. Why should I believe that the algorithm is going to be any different? In fact, I've noticed videos of mine that have nothing in them that really could be deemed not advertiser friendly, but they've been flagged as not advertiser friendly because of some reason by the algorithm, and I don't know what it is. So it's not consistent. There'll be videos where, excuse me, I'm getting so worked up I'm spitting apparently. I'm spitting mad. This is just bullshit. It really is. And YouTube must be they must be in a lot more shit. They must be a lot worse off financially than they're saying or that we might think. Because if they weren't, they wouldn't have done this. They wouldn't have been so desperate to appeal and to appease to the advertisers. This just screams of desperation. This screams of like getting on their hands and knees and begging the advertisers to come back. And the only way that they're able to get them to come back to the platform is if they hand the advertisers the keys to their channel. No, not the channel. I mean the keys to the entire website. And allow the advertisers to control what goes up, what gets noticed, what makes money, and what doesn't. There's going to be a lot of creators who are going to flee this platform. And I really honestly totally understand why. I've actually created a VidMe account. I'll put the link in the video description down below. You can follow me on there if you'd like. I'll be posting new videos and stuff on there. Any new content that I post on here, I will also post on there. As well as some exclusive stuff, some like tributes and stuff that I did years ago where I was really working on paying tribute to some of my favorite films in a creative way with a music video. And a lot of those videos were not able to be on YouTube because of copyright. So I'm actually able to post them on VidMe. So if you are at all curious about seeing some of my older work or even newer work, because I'm more willing to do more tributes now because I can actually show them to people. There's actually a platform where people can actually watch them, unlike in the past. But when it comes to this algorithm, I'm not censoring myself. YouTube can censor me all they want to. They can try to do their best to do that. They can put my videos behind some whatever wall. They can put me on a blacklist. Doesn't matter. I'm not changing my point of view. I'm not changing my stance, and I'm not changing my style for anybody. I'm not breaking for nobody. So YouTube and their new algorithm can kiss my ass. The second topic I want to rant about is this recent sort of thing going on with these limited edition Blu-rays and DVDs from Arrow Video and Screen Factory and Synapse. And I've talked about this before. I did a little rant on this when I was talking about the Vestron Collector Series Blu-rays that were coming out. And I have to be honest, I want to take back a little bit what I said, because the prices did eventually go down, and I was able to get the titles that I wanted from that series. But with Screen Factory and Arrow Video, their limited editions, in my opinion, are just absolute total rip-offs for the most part. It started with Nightbreed with Screen Factory, and I bought in. I was a sucker, and I bought it. The only real bonus is you get the theatrical version of Nightbreed on Blu-ray, and you get like a bonus disc that has a few other features, but they're not really that great. But at least it's some extra features that isn't available on the traditional non-limited edition release. Nightbreed, though, at least is a better example of a limited edition actually having something to it, unlike a lot of Screen Factory's recent limited editions, which are just a bunch of bullshit, which are just ways to get people to fork over more money and to, I guess, I don't know, like massage some collectors' egos because they're able to get their hands on limited edition stuff. When your limited edition DVD or Blu-ray, really Blu-rays, your limited edition Blu-ray, all it consists of is two extra slip covers and a poster. That's pretty fucking lazy, and that's a total rip-off. There's no reason why anybody should be paying double, let alone triple the price for that, of all things. Two extra slip covers and a poster or two. Come on now. Arrow Video did this recently with Bride of Reanimator. The limited edition, all that you get really in terms of extras is this: you get a hard cover, a hardback a slipcase, and you get like a reprint of a comic, a prequel comic, a Reanimator prequel comic, and you get a third disc, which is just the R-rated version of Bride of Reanimator, which is shitty. Why would anybody want that to begin with? That's a shitty special feature. That version sucks. Why would you want to watch a neutered, edited version of the film? That's like if Arrow Video decided to release a 3-disc special edition, limited edition of Dead Alive, and the third disc was just the R-rated cut of the film. I don't like this recent sort of stuff with Arrow Video and Screen Factory and Synapse doing this stuff with the limited editions with that limited amount, with limited amounts of features. I mean, just an R-rated version of the film. There's no new features or anything. Oh, I just get a hardcover slipcase and I get a comic book reprint. I mean, at least the comic book reprint is a little bit better than what Shout Factory's doing, Screen Factory's doing, just with like a couple slipcases and a poster. But still, it feels to me like it's a fucking ripoff, and it is just a way to sucker people into paying money because of the limited edition title. So, and the only way to really stop this from happening is if people stop buying into their bullshit and actually not buy these limited editions and have them sell out almost immediately because of their preconceived rarity. So, yeah, it's one of those things I just wanted to rant about for a little bit. I honestly think it's worthwhile to wait. Wait till Arrow or Screen Factory releases or has available the regular edition. Check for yourself. See if the features or the extras are really worth your money. If they're not, don't pay for it. Because honestly, all you're doing is paying out of your pocket for stuff that isn't really necessarily worth it. Unless you're a type of person who's scalping and wants to pay the extra fee, get a bunch of copies of limited edition, and then sell the posters and the slipcovers separately on eBay. And that happens quite a bit. So, yeah, and if you are interested in the posters and the extra slipcovers, that's cool. To me personally, though, that's a ripoff. I should not be paying double the price for that. Another thing I want to rant about, one last thing, is speaking of limited stuff, theaters and studios re-releasing classic films in theaters, but with extremely limited releases in extremely limited theaters, worldwide and nationwide. For instance, the recent upcoming T2 Terminator 2 3D release. I would have liked to have seen that, but it's playing nowhere near me. Absolutely nowhere near me. I have to hitch a ride or find a way to get to Olympia, Washington, which is way out of my way. And there's nothing playing in Vancouver. Excuse me for that. I'm just thinking about this stuff. I'm just allergic to this fucking bullshit. That's exactly what it is. It's ridiculous. If you want to make money, studios and theater chains, with re-releases of classic films, then give them a wide release. What are you doing giving them these limited releases in like a few theaters across the country? It's an absolute waste of resources and a waste of time and money. If you're going to spend the money, have more options available for people to go see the film. It's not like it's going to be there all month. You don't have to save a slot for a film like this for the entire month. You just have it for one weekend. Put some more effort into it. That's all I'm saying. Theaters and studios used to do this all the time in the 70s and 80s. And now, whenever this happens, it's usually just this extremely limited deal that is only in a few markets. And so a lot of people are fucking screwed. They're shit out of luck. They can't see the film in the theater. They can't see a movie that they want to see in the theater, that they would have loved to have seen in the theater, but they missed it. They missed a chance because either they were too young or they just weren't able to see it when it came out. And you have this shit where it's just you just can't really see it. AMC sometimes has a lot of these re-releases, but then Regal doesn't pick up on it. So then people who have Regal cinemas near them, well, they can't see the re-release because AMC is the one that's sponsoring or dealing with the other thing. In my opinion, I think all theater chains should make an agreement, make a deal, and enable every moviegoer to have the opportunity to see one of their classic beloved films in the theater in a re-release. I really do feel that that's a really, I think that's a good option. I think that's something that would be worth it, and I think a lot more people would see these re-releases if there were more theaters available where people could see these films. So yeah, that's all I really got to say. That's it for this mini rant. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I will see you guys later. See ya.